The Bible says, and those who came for Elisha controlled them. Listen, in your quest to carry God, you will be misunderstood. Thomas said, except I touch him and feel him, I would not agree. And he was called a doubter. He was not a doubter. He was looking for evidence. No matter the name you call Thomas, Thomas was the only disciple that touched the finger of Jesus and the side of Jesus. Yet you called him a doubter. Thomas was the only man, when he felt it, he said to Jesus, my Lord and my God. No one called Jesus Lord and God. Only the man who touched him. In your quest to touch him, people will misunderstand you. In your quest to touch him, your life will be a contradiction. In your quest to touch him, they will give you a name. In your quest to touch him, situations will try to define you. In your quest to touch the finger and the side of God, circumstance, but you are not what they call you. Am I speaking? It is evidence that silences argument. Press to touch. You call him a doubter, but Jesus called him a presser. He said, except I touch his bones and his side. God is looking for the generation of people that are ready to touch the sides, the pierced sides of God, that are ready to touch the hands of God, that his hands become your hands, his feet becomes your feet, his mouth becomes your mouth, his side becomes your side, and you begin to experience the very translation of the demonstration of God's power. Am I talking to somebody right now? Tell somebody, touch. Tell someone, touch. Tell someone, touch. In John chapter 4, a woman met with Jesus, and she had a wrong notion of the act of communing with God in the place of worship. As far as she was concerned, worship was a location. So Jesus came to teach her in John chapter 4 that worship was not a location. Worship was a translation. When we speak in tongues, we travel. Worship was a translation. Listen. Can I say something to you? What is the act of lifting up your hands? It's called yada. Is that true? And that means surrender. Eh? Is that true? Talk to me. What is it called? What is it called? The act of what? Yeah, we call it lifting up of hands, but the literal meaning is surrender. Huh? Before yada, there is yada. Yada is Y-A-D-A-H. Before yada, there is yada. Y-A-D-A. Y-A-D-A means intimacy and intercourse. When the Bible says Adam knew Eve, the original Hebrew translation is Adam yada Eve. Hold on. There is yada. There is yada. Right? Don't forget. Yada means lifting up your hands. Yada means intimacy. Now, before yada is when before you get to yada. But before you get to yada, there is yad. And yad means power. So in the place of worship, you get yad, into yada. So you get power to be intimate so your enemies can submit. Everyone who understands the place of trafficking in realms, trafficking in dimension, when you get to that point, sickness fall on their own. When you get to that point, disease drops on its own. Am I communicating now? There was a conspiracy against the king of the time. Another king was conspiring against the king of Israel. A king was against a king. A man's enemy is among his folks.